You're on Outside the Beltway. I'm John Fredericks, and I am your blowtorch of free speech in America. Great to have you with us. Elaine Parker joining us. Hey, I love getting Elaine on, number one, because she's a wealth of information. Number two is, she represents my favorite company of all time, Freedom Fighters and the Job Creators Network. As small business owner, it was a small business media owner. There's nothing better than being part of the Job Creators Network and their freedom fighters because they fight for you every day. Like Chamber of Commerce, clown show. Oh, they'll put a sticker on your window and then they'll take your money and ship your jobs to China. No, I don't think so. Oh, by the way, they'll pay Tom Donahue like $50 million to run a trade organization. Give me a break, okay? Stop. Done with that. I go to people that help me, and that's freedom fighters at the Job Creators Network. All you got to do is go to joinjcn.com. joinjcn.com. And they're also a great sponsor of ours and have been for many years because they understand got to be able to talk to people, and that's what they do, especially small businesses. So having said that, joining us now, Elaine Parker. Elaine, good morning.
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, Elaine. Number one, we talked to Todd a little bit about this, but we got job numbers out. I think it was on Friday or last week. 139 jobs created, kind of doubled what the brain dead lamos, libtards thought it was going to be, all talking about disaster. So we had 140,000 jobs, doubling expectations, who said we were going to hit 70. That's number one. So double what they said. Secondly, this is in the face of losing 200,000 jobs in the public sector, federal and state government jobs that add nothing to the economy. So you really added like 331,000 jobs because 200,000 were gone, plus all these illegals getting or self-deporting or getting out. That's about 1 million. I mean, Todd didn't really address this. Look at the number of jobs that got created. These are real jobs. Tell us about these numbers.
Yeah, John, last week was the third month in a row that the president's jobs and expectations. So we are going in the right direction, finally, after 4 years. 139,000 jobs, you're right. And what is significant about the jobs that are being created under this president is that they're being created in the private sector. Under the Biden administration, about half of the jobs created over that term were either government or quasi-government jobs. And just last year alone, the entire jobs created under the Biden administration were propped up by 500,000 government jobs. In just the first few months of the Trump administration, President Trump's administration and policies, pro-growth, pro-energy, have created 500,000 jobs in the private sector. I mean, those are staggering. I mean, the policies coming out of this administration are crushing expectations. Unfortunately, the media and the Democrats continue to try to distract away from it with other issues instead of talking about the policies that are working and the tax cuts that are sitting in the Senate right now being debated. That bill needs to come out and be signed by the president by the 4th of July so that small businesses can have some certainty. It's a big, beautiful bill. It needs to be a big, beautiful 4th of July.
How close are we to making that a reality?
You know, I think the Senate, it could make some great improvements to it. There's a lot of discussion about things that they want to do. I know that there's a lot of pro-growth Republican senators over there that want to make some improvements to it. So, that's a good thing. But what everyone needs to remember is that we have a very slim margin in the House. And while, it's not a perfect bill. There are warts along the way, and that's part of the negotiation of getting legislation through. Unfortunately, and I know it's fun for the media to report on Elon Musk and Trump's big breakup. But the thing is that Democrats are so excited that he's not on Trump's side anymore, but he wants more cuts, everything that they don't want. And so that's what's so interesting. But the reality is that page one out of the conservative playbook is to get tax cuts wherever, whenever, and however you can. And with such a slim margin in the House, if you're trying to go for both the tax cuts and all of the spending cuts that we want and we need as a nation, we're not going to get anything. So we've got to get the tax cuts through. And really, that's keeping the status quo, John. Remember, this is about keeping the tax cuts from having a $4 trillion increase on this economy. So while everyone keeps calling this a spending bill, it's really a bill to prevent a massive tax increase on the American people.
Well, that's coming if they don't get this passed. And the longer they wait, and if it goes back to the House and it's got to get renegotiated there, you're never going to get this done. And then the clock is going to run out. We've got to get this done in July so that small businesses like ours, I've said this 1,000 times, I mean, Ann and I are sitting on 5 or 6 major decisions waiting to see what the certainty is of the tax cut as it pertains to small businesses, which is what you make decisions on when you run a business like we do. Elaine, you guys did a poll on small businesses. Can you share the results with our audience with that?
Yeah, we do a national poll of small businesses. It's run by Scott Rasmussen and John McLaughlin. And, overwhelmingly, our small business owners support extending and making permanent the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. 70%, John, let me repeat that. 70% of small business owners say that if the tax cuts are extended, that they will reinvest in their communities, they will grow their businesses, expand jobs, and increase wages. You don't get 70% in a poll unless you're getting everybody, which means Democrats. And when we look down at party affiliation, Democrat small business owners by a 3-to-1 margin support expanding and extending the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. They're not partisan. Small business owners aren't partisan. They need good policies because bad policies disproportionately hurt them, whether they're Democrat, Republican, or independent. And the reality is, we need them to be made permanent, because if the $4 trillion tax increase that is heading towards us at the end of this year happens, again, it will disproportionately hurt our small business owners. And remember, it's people like you, John, small business owners, who led the way when the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was passed, and led the way in driving this economy to the greatest economy we had seen in half a century. We had wages that were rising at a pace where you saw workers' wages rising at a faster pace than their bosses. So basically, blue-collar wages were going up faster than white-collar wages. And don't forget, within this bill are Main Street priorities for everyday ordinary Americans. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, doubling the standard deduction, increasing the child credit. I mean, there's a lot of good things in there. And one of the things that we fought for was expanding the 20% small business tax deduction. It's coming in at 23% and 100% immediate expensing. I'm sure that's probably one of the things that you're looking at on, talking to Ann about on whether or not you grow your business. That immediate expensing is massive. Our small business owners told us that was the game changer in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, allowing you to expense all of your capital investments in the year that they're made. Huge. What an incentive to invest in your business. And unfortunately, we're sitting here not moving forward with it. The reality is that that's how you incentivize business owners to invest, is you give them good tax policy.
Well, you nailed it. I mean, Ann and I are sitting on major investment decisions in our company that we have to figure out based on whether or not we can get that deduction in 2025. I mean, that's what you make decisions on. When you have to invest in equipment and then to buy it new or whatever, which is going to drive the economy, and then you got to finance it, because I don't have, couple $100,000 of cash sitting around. I mean, we're like a media company. So you got to go finance it. So you go to your bank, you got to pay 5-6%, whatever it is now, and does that. But the math doesn't work if you're spreading this over a 5-year period. But if you can take that first deduction in 25, that alleviates some of the pain of the finance fee that you got to pay your bank in order to make the investments you need. If you don't run a business, you don't understand what this is. Now, you take my company, you times it by millions of people sitting on decisions that have to be made. and we just wait because we don't know what is going to happen. And so that's why once this thing gets passed, you're going to see an explosion in August. As the explosion.
26 million small business owners utilize that small business tax deduction that's going to increase from 20 to 23%. You're talking about 3 percentage points on keeping more of your business revenue to be able to invest it. Now, 3% may not sound like a lot, but you multiply it by 26 million small business owners and their revenues, it is massive.
If you take each small business just take $100,000, you times that by 26 million. There's a lot of zeros there. I mean, this I'm telling you, August in the fourth quarter, if you get this passed in July, you're going to have the biggest business expansion you've ever seen. We're going to get 4-5% growth in the third and the fourth quarter if you can get this passed. Elaine, thanks for being with us. Go to joinjcn.com, joinjcn.com. Dr. Kelly Victory on the Wellness Company from Denver is next.